Welcome back, everybody. Derrick Soo, your East Oakland advocate. Well, if you haven't heard by now, Trump, number 47, is talking about a possible recession in the near future. And I've been through a few recessions, and the last recession made me homeless. I was a multimillionaire, retired, and I'm going to actually tell you a lot of you have been asking, who were your financial institutions? What happened? Well, I'll talk about that at the end of the video here. But today, what I'm going to talk about is some survival techniques and lessons that I've learned and advice that I have heard from hundreds of people who have become homeless. So, first of all, what is a recession? Donald Trump has been talking about, it. He's been putting tariffs on goods coming in to this country, and it's been crazy what's going on economically. And today, Monday, we're seeing the stock market really tanking. In by noontime, the Dow had lost over 500 points, 1% of its value. Um, and so things are not looking really good. And those of you with 401s, I know you're really nervous because when these stocks start going down, so does your income and your dividends from uh, your investments. So these are all very important indicators of what is happening. And so, what is a recession? Recession is an economic downturn that affects a country or the entire world. And so right now we have our country, but Donald Trump, number 47, is also affecting the entire world economically, with these changes. Number two, decrease in economic activity or growth. We're certainly seeing that. The economy has become less confident of its financial future, and so people are spending less. When people spend less, that means businesses aren't able uh, to bring in the kind of profits that they need to keep their doors open, or even their survival. And so that runs into jobs, and so we're seeing jobs. Last month was pretty good. There was still a positive growth, but pretty soon, because of businesses and the business atmosphere right now and the economic atmosphere, uh, this could be changing very quickly, because we're seeing a lot of tech industry jobs going away, being laid off. And then on top of that, uh, the illegal alien who's in charge of our country, named Elon Musk, is firing people left and right, terminating federal workers left and right, without cause, without due cause, and without process, which is illegal. And so it's interesting and to see what's going to happen here. Um, First of all, I love seeing that um, Tesla's sales are tanking worldwide. Uh, Also, SpaceX, they're blowing up, not in a good way. And Boring Company, we haven't heard anything about the Boring Company because it's boring. But anyway, um, yeah, I've had some experience with some financial crises, the recessions. One of the first ones that really financially rocked me was in the early 80s. And that was a real estate. And back then we had recession, Jimmy Carter transitioning into the Reagan administration cutting all sorts of things, kind of like what Trump is doing, but he did it to certain uh, classes of people. And so that was still a really bad situation. And for me, I was in my first marriage, first wife. She was younger than me. Also, came from a poorer family. Her family wasn't very financially astute. My family was, and I should have continued to listen to my family financially when they said, "Don't buy that house because that's a bad investment. That's too much money, and you're going to lose." And they were right. I ended up right after we got the home, things really fell apart. Uh, Wife cheated on me. Also spent the credit cards to over $20,000 of debt on credit cards. Not the house. The house was ridiculously expensive too, at $125,000 when it was only worth $100,000. So uh, uh, bad things all the way around. And then, like I said, I find uh, to get rid of all of the things that were making me absolutely crazy at the time is I was so stressed at that time. I had a lot of medical issues from the stress uh, financially. And so, anyway, divorced her and filed for bankruptcy, which took me off the loan for the mortgage of the home, and then also dismissed all of my debt that she ran up. I didn't run up the debt; she ran up the debt, and within 2 years, because I had a good job and was rebuilding my credit right after the bankruptcy. I was able to buy a home in Alameda, a condo, uh, 2 years later. And so bankruptcy isn't a bad thing. And then one of the things you also have to take into consideration right now, a lot of those companies that are issuing those bank cards, those credit cards, are Republicans, are the MAGAs, the Trumpites. And so they're the ones keeping you broke. And they keep raising the interest rates on those credit cards. The last I heard was 30% up to 38% interest, annual interest rates on those credit cards. So you want to stay away from credit cards if you have a lot of credit cards. Uh, Here's my advice to you. If you are um, in the danger zone on housing, where you might be already a month behind on your mortgage or your rent, what you have to take into consideration, what is going to happen to the economy. And we're seeing the price of food going up, we're seeing the price of electricity going up, everything is going up except your paycheck. And you're getting further behind because you're not bringing in any more income, but the things that you need and have to have are raising up. And so if you are housing endangered, and uh, one of the things that I've spoken to a lot of homeless folks and people that had homes. Here's what they said: if they knew that they were going to become homeless, they would have stopped paying their rent, would stop paying their mortgage, would stop paying their credit cards, would stop paying anything that they owed right then and there, at least 90 days earlier. 90 days earlier. So that's 3 months. That's 3 months of income that you, rather than giving it to uh, the Republicans and all of those corporations that don't care about you. All they care about is getting their money. Um, because this is a recession, they're going to write it off. And here's what's going to happen. I didn't file for bankruptcy when I became homeless. I just let the time ran out because number one, I was too busy being homeless and didn't have a phone, so to speak. In fact, the phone that I had, I closed down, and then I got another phone and used that instead. And so, the credit companies had a harder time finding me and locating me, but they couldn't find me because I'm homeless. I don't have an address. So, stop paying your bills. 3 months earlier. When you are become in danger of losing your home, like I said, you're already a month behind on your mortgage. You're already a month behind on your rent, and you don't know how you're going to catch up. That's the time when you stop paying, because within the next 90 days you're going to become homeless. And rather than trying to pay all of that to the credit card companies and to all the other places that you're indebted to, you need to pocket that money immediately. Not in a bank. Don't put it in a bank. Keep it on your person, or in a place that you know is safe, that only you have access to, and then start planning for your needs as a homeless person. And go back to some of my earlier videos, surviving homelessness tips, and that'll help you with the housing, the bedding, cooking, getting electricity for free. uh, getting all the components isn't going to be free, but that money that you're saving from, instead of paying the credit card companies, that's going to help you get a solar generator, help you get the solar panels and all the parts that you need, so that you are not without electricity at any time. And that's one of the most important things. Water, we discussed on that and talked about how to get water there. But here's the kicker. A lot of you folks been saying, well, you just fucked up financially. Well, yeah, I didn't make the mistakes. I didn't make the situation that I ended up in. It was the Republicans, the banks, the financial institutions that literally stole my money, because they lied to us. And if you go back and find out what the lie is, it was about the subprime loans. That's what bankrupted the entire real estate and the financial institutions. And my primary financial institution back then was Washington Mutual. Yes, Washington Mutual, the biggest crook of them all. And right now they were the biggest loser in that recession, that when they collapsed. Next up was another institution that I had been with for a number of years, a long time, Smith Barney. They've been around for over 150 years when I was with them. So that was an investment house that went bankrupt because of subprime loans. And they had a lot of my money, and they lied to me. And all of us who were in that portfolio. You can go back and look at certain parts of Smith Barney were sold off for about 10 cents on the dollar. And then the other divisions like where my money ended up, going into being dismissed. And then the final one, which was Citibank. Citibank is still around today. I still don't trust them. And they had nearly $750,000 of my money that they screwed me out of. So those are three institutions that put me and made me homeless. I don't believe in anything 47 says about anything, because what he's doing, it appears that, number one, he put a Nazi in charge of the country. Elon Musk, who is an illegal alien, by the way, because he does not have citizenship here in America. He's probably one of those that would buy the $5 million immigration pass so that he can become an instant U.S. citizen. And that's probably what Trump came up with, that so that Elon Musk could do that. And then to bypass all the safety securities and background checks and everything. So this clown does not belong in charge of our country or anywhere near the 47. And then I'm actually happy to see his swastikars failing on the open world market. He's lost a lot of business worldwide on his swastikar. and then people are making poster boards out of the other swastika, the the stainless steel one, and then his SpaceX business is really blowing up, literally. So these are all good things. I'm glad to see happening with Musk. We saw that he was building a business destroyer. You know how he criticized Twitter when Twitter was very successful. Then when he bought it out, I mean, he bought it for a lot of money, and within 90 days, half that value disappeared because of him. And so that's another indicator why he is uh, a Trumpite, because he's great at failure, great at screwing things up. Because Musk did not invent the Tesla, he did not invent uh, SpaceX. He just put the money behind it. It was other people that really brought that forward. So anyway, that brings you up to date on things, uh, and I tell you back when I was becoming homeless, I struggled to pay my bills and everything until I couldn't, and then when I didn't have any money, there was nothing for me to pay with, because I didn't even have. I was on the local welfare of only $350 a month, and that entire $350 that I was getting through the county welfare, that went for food, all of it. There nothing left over for anything, and so uh, this is just recommendations from experience, not only my experience, but the experience of hundreds of other homeless folks. They said if they could foresee them becoming homeless, they would have stopped paying their bills, stopped paying credit cards, especially, uh, and started stacking that money away for that eventual occurrence to happen, which is going to live out on the street. Uh, I've I've been off the street for a couple of years. Fortunately, I put myself in a good financial position right now with zero income. And so a lot of you are saying, well, how do you get zero income? Well, uh, back in 2009, bankruptcy court, U.S. bankruptcy court, IRS, they give me a deal, you know, and have me sign a NDA, non-disclosure agreement. So I'm disclosing a lot of things that were in that NDA because I don't give a shit about their NDA anymore. And screw the government, because they royally screwed me. And so I'm just letting you folks know, your government is not your friend. Credit card companies and financial institutions are not your friends. They're not there to help you or do you any favors. They're there to make money at all costs. And even if you have no money, they will try and get money out of you. So just best to ignore them, like I did when I became homeless, because I didn't file for bankruptcy. But what happens between 90 days, 120 days, that credit card company is going to charge you off, period. That's the first thing that happens. Then they sell that your name on a list to debt collectors. Debt collectors pay a little bit for that list, so they can try and collect that debt, and they really have no power over you. They have words, and you can filter their contact out by changing your phone number, number one, or putting a call screen on, so that unless the number is registered in your contacts, that it doesn't even ring you. It just notifies you that somebody tried to call you. That's it. And um, like I said, the other one is do a prepaid phone, or you can have a regular phone. But if you have really bad credit, it's going to be very difficult getting uh, phone service if you're not already long-term phone service with a carrier. So that's just some information, and hopefully that helps you survive homelessness. And those are my tips for the day. Thanks for joining me. We'll be right back.